Hello everybody, this is Brian Troe coming to you from Mossy Creek Fly Fishing, and I'm going to bring you your fly fishing forecast. Today is Monday, October 12th. So, we finally got some rain. I was joking with some customers earlier this week that it seems like no matter where a hurricane hits this country, or even other countries, it always finds its way to Virginia. So we're dealing with the remnants of Hurricane Delta, and depending on where you are in the state, we've gotten anywhere from an inch to, in some places, up to 2 inches. So things were getting a little bit dry, a little dusty. So it was a nice little refresh for all the streams. I got out on the Shenandoah on Friday to do a little cleanup, and did a little fishing for about a half an hour or so in the morning. It was cold. But you know, things warmed up nicely, and I was able to catch quite a few smallmouth bass. So they were still out on some of the shallow water. So that was good to see. They haven't completely gone and hidden. As I reported last week, I felt like you still had a good chance to get out and maybe get a few before things, start to shut down. So, the river's bumping a little bit. I was looking at the gauges this morning, and, that's something that's important for you all to know is the U.S. Geological Survey stream flow gauges. What an incredible tool. I don't know how we would, guide without them. We would probably drive to the river a ton to look at it. But those are a great resource. So if you're on the floating the South Fork of the Shenandoah, you can look at all the tributaries. The North, the Middle, and the South River all have gauges. The first gauge on the South Fork is the Linwood gauge. There's one at Luray. Those are important. Where we fish the James in Central Virginia, there's gauges at Scottsville, and further upstream at Bent Creek and others. Those are all important for you to watch so you can see if a big push of water is coming. There's a bump today on the South Fork, but it's not huge. So, and with things drying out for the next few days, I think that you'll be able to get on the river and enjoy a little bit more smallmouth bass fishing. I didn't have a lot of time to fish. I was cleaning the river, so I just flipped a little white Zudler out, like a size 4, and just kind of let it dead drift and swim, and fish were coming and attacking it from all different directions. So the Shenandoah River literally has one of the best spawn classes I've ever seen, not from this year. We'll know more about that later, but from the prior year, 2019. I mean, the river is just absolutely loaded with like 6-inch smallmouth, 7-inch smallmouth. And then the other size categories are good as well. Some of the bigger rivers in the state, like the Potomac and the New and the James, not so much. So there's a lot of good size fish coming in, and they're gonna hopefully be with us for a long time, and that'll affect the fishing moving forward. So try and get some more smallmouth fishing in before the season's really done, and get out there after some muskie too. Water temperatures are right, and they're eating, and the leaves aren't too bad. As far as our stock trout waters, the state has been busy. Like I said before, there's a couple more places that have been put on the list for the year. One of which is Bat Creek Delayed Harvest. That's like one of our favorites. That's in Bath County. Beautiful stretch of water up there on Dominion's property. And so if you get some time to head to Bath County, it's beautiful. The leaves are starting to really get nice up that way. And beautiful catch and release only fishery that usually fishes well right up until June. So that's another place to add to your list. Also, the South River has been stocked in Waynesboro, and the water levels are good. So a couple more places to help spread folks out. And like I said, the state will be out constantly. I believe last report I was talking about Spring Run has been stocked, and also the Jackson at Hidden Valley. So the more of these places that come online, the more people that will spread out. And it shouldn't be too crowded or too busy. And, about half of fly fishermen are also hunters. And so a lot of those folks will be hunting instead of fishing over the next few weeks. So anyway, stocked fisheries are good. Got a much needed shot of rain. If you're fishing a place that's been recently stocked, the fish aren't going to be terribly picky. I always say, freshly stocked fish know like 3 food, right? They eat trout pellets, which you're not fishing with, okay? They eat egg. There's always egg in hatcheries, and so they recognize egg, and they eat it all the time. And then they eat each other, right? If they don't get graded properly. So fishing a streamer is always a good go-to when you're fishing a freshly stocked stream. Brightly colored flies are important. They like brightly colored flies. And then, as these fish kind of get some pressure and get fished a little bit, they'll become much more discriminating on what they eat, and as they get exposed to natural foods. So as you fish these delayed harvest streams, you'll notice that they'll go from not too challenging to much, much more challenging as we go through the season. So we're here to help you out with flies and fly selection if you need it when it comes to those types of things. So, and then that takes us to the mountain streams. Brook trout fishing is still quite good. So we are getting close to that critical time where they're going to pair up and start spawning. So it's really important for all of you all to know that if you're going to go and fish for these brook trout up in the mountains, you've got to be really, really careful and observant. So once they get paired up and once they're doing their thing on their nests and stuff, you need to just call it quits. Feel free to contact the shop with reports. We have a lot of variety to our brook trout streams in the state, and they're not all exactly 100% on the same page. So we had some good reports from the dry river this week. Fish are still looking up. People are still catching them on stimulators, so lots of dry fly fishing to be done. A little extra shot of rain. If the fish aren't paired yet, they've got maybe 5 days, maybe 10 days to eat before they do that. So it's actually really great fishing right up until it stops. So be observant, wade with care, and if you go brook trout fishing and you find a bunch of fish that are nested up and you need another place to go, just call the shop. We're here. Call us, email us, stop by, say hi. Everybody here has been excited about the fall fishing, and with this little extra shot of rain from Hurricane Delta, it's going to help extend some of our fishing for another couple weeks. So there's some cool nights coming ahead. We'll see if that knocks those smallmouth bass off for good for the winter. But until then, get out and try and fish for those guys. Enjoy the delayed harvest fisheries that are starting to open up, and maybe squeeze in a couple more brook trout before they're going to be done for the spawn. So, all right, that's about it. Thanks so much. We hope you guys keep checking in on these reports, and we'll do our best to keep bringing them to you. And we'll see you at the shop soon. Thanks.